Blog Talk Radio.
I am so mad at my husband. He kissed his ex-wife. Oh no, he's gonna be paralyzed. I love him so much.
Welcome to Take-Two Radio. We are pleased to bring you interviews with people in the entertainment and music industry, discussions and recaps of the 4 remaining daytime soaps. That's The Bold and the Beautiful, The Young and the Restless, General Hospital, and Days of Our Lives, as well as various other shows. For upcoming and previous shows, check Take2Radio.com. That's with the number 2. And you can find us on Blog Talk Radio, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and other streaming apps. Follow us on social media at Take2 Radio, and thanks for listening.
Hey, good evening, everybody. This is David, your fill-in host for Take-Two Radio Soaps in Review. And tonight I'm filling in for Pam. And with me tonight I have Candace and Anthony.
Hello,
Hi,
hello,
guys.
hello.
Well,
And
bonjour. Bonjour.
Bonjour. and I want to tell you, you know, as they say in the soaps in the old times, due to absence, the role of Carolyn Jenkins is being played tonight by Vinny Apicella.
Hey, what's going on?
Welcome, Vinny.
How you doing?
Hey.
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Would you fill us in on what you do? I think Candace might be familiar with you, but maybe Anthony is not. I've heard you, so tell us about
familiar, but our
yourself.
listeners might not be.
Yeah, not
All right.
listener.
Sure. No, absolutely. Well, I host the Suds in the Squared Circle podcast, which is basically centered around General Hospital and WWE. Seeing as I see wrestling and soap operas as very similar genres, one just has a little bit more violence. One takes place in a squared circle as opposed to, in a town like Port Charles. Recently, I've been getting more into Days of Our Lives as well. I've only been watching for like this year, so I haven't added that into the show yet because I'm still not up to date with all the pasts and all the storylines. I mean, the current stuff, yes, but not the back stories. But that's what I do. I do talk about stuff that's going on in today's world. Every so often, I try to keep away from that because, as I've seen numerous times, it could cause controversy. But outside of that, I stick to General Hospital and WWE for my show.
So let me ask you this, Vinny. Stephen A. Smith, a.k.a. Brick on General Hospital, has quite the reputation in the sports world. Did it surprise you to find someone from that world in the soap opera world?
Not at all. I mean, Stephen A. Smith was actually on the pre-show for WrestleMania this year. So he's a big wrestling fan as well. And even Frank Valentini kind of showed the video clip of Brick mentioning General Hospital on the WrestleMania pre-show and said thanks for the shout-out. So, no, I think it's great. I think there's a lot more males that I'm finding are soap fans, and, the stereotype being that it's, growing up, the whole idea of a soap opera was because of the ads that were on the shows for soaps. But I think a lot more men are watching soap operas now, and I find it fantastic.
Absolutely. If you haven't had the opportunity to read his book, by the way, it is a great read. But go ahead,
it really is.
And I was going to say, Vinny, because I also, enjoy WWE. Were you shocked that some of the WWE wrestlers, because I think this is so funny that you're actually on, because I just had this conversation with somebody else. Are you surprised how many wrestlers are soap fans? Like AJ Lee or I'm sorry, CM Punk, because I always still call them by their real names. Shout out to Phil. Hey, Phil. Are you surprised? Like, did you know that some of the WWE and AEW stars are soap fans?
I'm not, honestly. I mean, if you look at some of the storylines that are on, you know, a lot of the storylines have gone by the wayside. There aren't as many good storylines in wrestling as there used to be. But if you look at like the Bloodline, which has been going on for almost 3 years at this point.
Cinema. That is cinema.
It is. Roman Reigns deserves an Emmy for his acting, and that entire storyline itself is just fantastic. But even looking back, that you had Alice, the maid for the Quartermains, as a professional wrestler on her side job, and David Otunga came to visit her in the hospital. So it's not a surprise to me. When I look at some of the way they talk in their promos, you could see the influence of soaps in their promos.
Yeah.
Well, going so far back as to, you know, the old WWF, the McMahon dynasty pattern, the Randy Macho Man Savage, Elizabeth, and the whole triangle of that era, along the lines, or around the Robert Scorpio, Holly, Luke, Spencer triangle, and even some of the dialogue was almost, was almost word for word to some of the scenes. So, they've taken the beat of the energy of good soap opera storytelling, because we're honest on this show. There's good storytelling and there's not so good storytelling.
And the same for wrestling. And the same for wrestling storylines, because you just brought up Macho Man and Elizabeth, and I think everybody, even if you're not a huge wrestling fan, right, you know about them, and you know how when Randy's, contract had expired, he was done with WWF at the time. It was created again, he went rogue. His true love was somewhere out there, and they reunited. And if you have not seen that clip, and this has been, almost 30 years ago. Oh, my God. 30 years ago. It was the equivalent of a super couple. Randy and Elizabeth was that super couple in the sports world. And then, of course, you had, the late, great Dusty Rhodes, who, oh, my God, I miss him every single day. He was the pivot of, again, somebody who sort of not a Victor Newman type, but he appreciated family loyalty, and he understood that he started this company from the ground up. Now, Vince McMahon mostly is like an Alan Spalding for Guiding Light fans out there, or Stefano, depends on which way you look at
Jesse
it.
Ventura.
But you're right. But you're right.
To think more like an Asa Buchanan, but
like an Asa Buchanan, type. Well, I would say more so. No, I would actually say for Asa, it has to be over at WCW. So look, we can talk about wrestling right now, but the thing is that you're right. Some of the storylines over on wrestling, like you said, the Bloodline, clearly deserve. Can we just give them the award now? Because seriously, that is great. That is great soap telling in a sense, because it does remind you of sort of like the Newmans or the Demers right now, or back when the Quartermains or Cassidons, when they actually would go against each other, and then you find out there's no loyalty. It's just one person is about to come out for all the revenge. It's been building up. You listen to General Hospital, you build up a storyline. You see what I did there? Okay. But, and then you think about, you had your loyalties, the Four Horsemen, then there was the rule is never change the core character, because if you do, it still has to work. And how many times did The Undertaker change? How many times? Yeah. Here's the thing. Hulk Hogan, he changed, but it worked. So it's a very similar.
Hulk Hogan is responsible for one of the biggest upturns in. Not only was he the biggest name of the '80s, but when he turned heel in the late '90s and kicked off the NWO, wrestling went into a whole new stratosphere.
I mean, think about it. The Monday Night Wars was a soap opera. Monday Night Wars, literally, because you felt as though it was sort of, for those who don't understand, I'm about to do this. It was like you had, we all grew up watching different soaps at different times. The struggle was real at 2 o'clock because if you was a One Life to Live fan and something good was happening on Astroworld Turns that day, but another world or passions had you by the balls, you literally had to make a decision. It was like, okay, now I can easily record this and watch these two shows, but I feel like I'm going to miss out on something. And that seriously was the Monday Night War. You had D-Generation X, you had NWO, it literally, you had to pick and choose. It's sort of like Gunlight and General Hospital at the time. Like, it was just like, which one do you pick? And which one are you going to be like, you know what, I can hold out on it?
Even bring
come on, girl. Let me ask you this real quick. How many times did you have the TV going on in the kitchen or whatever and in the living room, and you were sort of sitting in the hallway listening to both and paying more attention to whichever had more?
No, look, I'm going to tell you how it was.
I had 2 TVs.
See,
I had 2 TVs in my bedroom, watching Raw on one TV and Nitro on the other.
See, okay, so I'm gonna do this. I grew up with my great-grandmother, okay? So anybody who had a grandmother knows where the main TV was. It was in the living room, okay?
Yep.
So
the parlor.
Her TV, right, her RCA TV was right there. As soon as you come into, right in the I can still picture this, in the corner of the living room, right? So she would tell you at 12:28, y'all better be quiet. My stories are coming on. I don't want to hear anybody's mouth until after 3:40 something or 3:54. Okay. Downstairs in the basement, my great uncle, he would come home from work. Before he went to his house, he would have NBC on. He was going back and forth between NBC and ABC. He knew about CBS. When my mom was alive, upstairs in her room, she was doing ABC, CBS, NBC. Little Candace in her room was watching what else? Disney Channel. But again, I can hear my grandmother saying that I can't stand that freaking Victor Newman. Oh my God, I can't stand him. And then you hear my uncle saying, I can't believe Marlena. And my mom is like, see, this is why I'm not riding with the Buchanans right now. So I literally grew up, and you're right. Again, when it was the Monday Night Wars, you had to really pick your you really had to pick sides. It was either you would stick with WWE or WWF at the time, which was going through a it really was, and we can't not, about, ECW, because they kind of snuck in there too a little bit. They were creepy. But it was like, but we all know what changed that day. Spoiler alert. When they did that spoiler alert, like they do now, like we all now know certain things, like Dave, well, not so much with Dave, they're kind of cutting back on it, but with Dave, they always give you the spoilers for like 6 months down the line and everything. But of course, we all know that when it was announced that Mankind was going to win, that did it. That was like, bye. Like, let's turn into WWF. Like, what's going on here? So. It's just like a soap. See, we know about wrestling.
Yep. So we should start our soaps right now then. So, Vinny, which one are you more comfortable with? Are you good if we start with Days?
Yeah, that's fine with me. We can start with Days.
Oh, okay. What's happening on Body and Soul?
Well, I love how it parallels. I love how it's paralleling everything that's happening to Abe. It's like showing him that he's being taken advantage of and what he should have known in his life.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing to me how they're using that show within a show as a plot device.
It is. I think it's a riot.
I'll agree with that. Go ahead, David. Sorry.
Yes, I'm having fun with it. So, I mean, I don't think I've been so entertained in a long time, but this is I'm very pleased with how this is going, and especially today how it came together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I like how I liked how the storyline with Abe is kind of finally picking up steam. Like we still don't know the why. Almost, we still don't know the why he was abducted. But I like that it's finally picking up some kind of steam. And the fact that Whitley did drug Lonnie. I think that's her name.
Yes.
Lonnie. And had her tied up as well. Almost like, oh, we finally got somebody there to find that Abe is still alive. But now I'm very happy with. Do you talk about today's episode or just last week?
Past 2 weeks.
Okay, so I won't talk about today's episode because I already watched today's episode.
You can do today because I saw today.
Okay. All right, so I'm kind of glad that they finally realized that they could use the tracking device for Lonnie to find out where she is. I would think that would have been like the first thing they would have thought of if a fugitive or someone on furlough is missing. Check the ankle monitor.
Okay. Let me school you. I don't know how long you've been watching General. I know you said you've been on days for about a year now. Let me school you on one of the most important soap tropes out there. You will never find a soap opera police department that is capable. That is,
which is sad.
That has a good track record for doing what obviously should be done in real. That when it comes to crimes on soap opera, you most definitely have to employ your suspension of belief.
Of course.
For entertainment.
You can't put logic to something that's illogical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Candace?
Okay.
Candace?
So you guys know that Body and Soul is like my favorite other soap outside of Fraternity Row. Shout out to those who know Fraternity Row.
Yep. Shout out to them.
Let me break
and
this
how,
all down.
How awesome is it that Ron is getting his chance to redeem what Fraternity Row should have been the last couple of months of One Life to Live? But go on.
Well, no, but you know what else I love real quick about, because I don't think a lot of people understood why, because everybody said, Candace, I don't understand why you like Body and Soul. And I said, because that's the ultimate homage to the actors on the show. And the thing is that when they showed the credits, the end credits of Body and Soul, I had to die out loud. I was like, somebody's getting a lawsuit. Because it's not.
Oh, yes.
Because it's like, okay, they have the Body and Soul characters, right? That's one thing. But the actors who are playing the characters, they have the, like James Reynolds is playing Henry Marshall. And I'm like, I had a moment where I kind of, even before when they said that, that he was like the owner of Marshall's Ice Cream. If you have not been watching soap for a long time, and I'm like, I think everybody knows this, I probably watch every damn soap out there. So it was like when I heard that, I was like, wait a minute, wait. And when they said his name was Henry Marshall, I said, oh my God, y'all brought up Generations, because that was a soap that James Reynolds was on for a short period of time. So I was like, oh. But then when they had Catherine Bell, I said, you know what? I said, somebody get a lawsuit, because as many of you guys know, that was Mary Beth Evans' character over on General Hospital.
On General Hospital.
It should be Cody's mother, but that's another story for another day. But when they started doing that, and then you had, you know, Jack K and Sandra, I'm like, yeah,
yes.
Yeah. But then when you had the ultimate, Tucker McCall, I said, you know what? I said I'm not mad at it. I was like, why are y'all doing this? But it was funny because even with Deidre Hall, because I think everybody didn't understand Deidre. So the character that Deidre plays the actress whose name is from the show Our House. So
right,
this
that
is
was
what I
her
like. This is what, and same thing for Drake Hogerson, because his character was from, what was it, Seven Brides for Seven, from
Seven
Lone
Brothers?
Star. Yeah, yep. The TV show. He was in it for a little bit. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There you go. See, that tells you I grew up watching with my great-grandmother TV, because if I can remember those kind of shows and Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, we have a problem. But no, I just really enjoy how it's the way they set it up first, and I don't think I said it on here, is they're kind of mocking themselves, because you have Nurse Whitney, who was a devoted fan of a soap opera, recorded every freaking episode. Who didn't do that? Literally, who did not record their soap opera or put it on DVR? Okay, but then you got mad when you found out your soap was going on a streaming service. I said, I said, Days is that show that can make fun of themselves, even when people are like, no, y'all not supposed to do that. But I appreciate the jokes, because I think sometimes we get too serious about these soaps. It's nice to kind of have fun. And it does remind me a little bit, and you know, Ron sometimes get a lot of flack, but I think he's still, just like everybody else, we miss One Life to Live. And the fact that he kind of incorporated a little bit of what, like, fraternity role into this, it was funny. Now, the real stuff.
Wait, before we get to the real stuff, I have to make my comment on this.
Okay, go ahead.
First and foremost, I am loving it. It is entertaining.
Yeah.
Let's be real with each other and our listeners out there. Some of the most memorable soap moments in history are the comedic moments. You know, are the things that kind of blew you out of your seat. I mean, think about Nora and Beau's wedding, or, you know, there are some annals of history. So first and foremost, you know, comedy has always been part of the soap tradition. Some do it better than others, and Days, you know, has definitely always had the cheeky side to it. But more importantly, you know, the thing that soap has been facing since the late 90s is, how do you balance pleasing your core audience, who, you know, they want their families, they want their couples, they want their, you know, their soap tropes, they want their soap that they've been watching since the 50s, 60s, 70s. And the new viewership, how do you know, General Hospital, Days both had very successful teen scenes. All of the soaps tried it, some more successfully than others. Let me put it that way. How do you balance between, this was a great way not only to nod other soaps, not only to nod the institution of soap opera itself, but to also say, you know what, fans, let's give you this little teaser, because we know you follow wherever these folks go. When Deidre went to our house,
we tried.
There was backlash to Days, of course, but we all flocked. We all watched Our House. We loved Shannon Doherty before she was Brenda.
Yep.
You know, and the Catherine Bell, yeah, of course, she's Kayla. But you know what? For a brief little history, she bumped herself on the head, showed up in Port Charles, and she was pretending to be.
And then she
Catherine
bumped her head
Bell.
again, and she bumped her head again when she went over to Oakdale. Let's not forget. Thank you.
So exactly. So, you know, I give the writing team major kudos for this. It is successful. It is making people talk, and whether they love it or they hate it, they're talking about it, and it's bringing other people in to see, like, oh, what's going on? Oh, wait a minute. Are they going to make a character out of this? Oh, this is fun. Let me stay and watch and see what's happening. So kudos.
Yeah, they're making people feel.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Candace.
Exactly. Whether you No, I was just going to say whether they love it or they hate it, they're feeling it. They're feeling something towards it, which is the biggest thing that you want your audience to feel. So you don't want somebody to just kind of watch it and be like, yeah, it's happening. I could predict the future or whatever. You want somebody to feel and, one way or the other. So, yeah, it's fantastic.
Absolutely. But even that one step further, because they are basically telling us, we hear you. We see you. We know what you do. Here's a little nod that lets you know, we're paying attention to you too.
And like you said, we are, look, and I always say this all the time. The soap fans are the best kind of fans. Because even though we're upset when an actor leaves, we do follow them. Because they made us fall in love with them and their acting. So the fact that, again, because some people did not know, it was like, why was they showing the names? I don't understand what was the big deal about the names. But again, when I saw Henry Marshall, Catherine Bell, Tucker McCall, and I was like, I said, they're stupid. I really did say, I said somebody's getting a lawsuit because I was like, and then I had to think about it. I said, well, Tucker McCall might actually be okay. But it was just, it's fun. And you're right. Days is that soap that has done certain things over the last couple of years. Like yesterday was the anniversary of the Buried Alive storyline with Carly. They've done, obviously, the Devil Possessor storyline. They've done certain things. We don't talk about the Garden of Eden. Vinny, trust me, you don't want to know about that storyline, okay? I'm saving you.
Okay.
I'm saving you from yourself. Just like, okay, I'll give you.
Nor do you want to know about the serial killer island where everybody.
No. Wait a minute, Vinny. I'm going to help you out with the Garden of Eden storyline. We don't talk about it just like we don't talk about the coffin with Triple H. You and Kane.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm going at with that. So, now real talk. Dave's fans who complaining about something, let me just say this. The A storyline is this storyline. James Reynolds, Kim Cole, Jack K. Harry better submit for next year. Because what we thought was kind of cute, there's this this nurse who is allergic to cats, but she got fake cats in her house. Okay. Something's a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yep, a little bit.
Everything was
Tutti Frutti.
Tutti Frutti, Looney Tooney. But it was like, okay, they're watching soap. It's a different take on the amnesia storyline. It got real when she stuck him with that needle. It got real after that because, again, it's this whole, this kind of, psycho situation. But then when she stuck him in the net, and he became sedated. When James Reynolds, because I only thought Deidre Hall could do this, but when he did the one tear, I was like, oh, hell, this is about to get interesting. The fact that Whitney created this whole world type to live in, again, a nod to some of y'all soap fans. I ain't saying no names, but y'all know some of y'all take this too far too, right? But the thing is that, she has a fake son. She has Theo. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Bravo for bringing the old Theo back to play Theo, quote unquote. I was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, okay, I love this, right? And then you have Lonnie, my girl, coming back and everything and being on point. She's leading this. She's like, something's not catching. I'm not. 1 and 1 is not equaling up to 2. I love the fact that you got Steve and John, and you got all of this going on. But again, you realize that Abe is in serious danger. So then with Lonnie, girl, because I had a conversation with you in my head. When you got knocked out, right? I'm like, okay, you're going to come to, I'm glad that you're seeing Abe. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, nobody's going to believe you. And then I'm thinking to myself, okay, because this woman, when and this is why I say Kim Coles better go for that guest performer category for the 51st annual Daytime Emmys, not the 50th. By the way, we still don't know if they're going to have it in the live in person or if they're just going to do the announcements on social media later this year. We'll stay on top of it. But anyway, when she said, you ruined my plans, you're not supposed to be here, I have to figure how to get you out. And I'm like, oh, yeah, she's definitely deranged. She's mad. When when Lonnie said, they're going to come looking for me, and this is where you realize Whitney didn't think about something. But when she said, how are they going to find you? Nobody could find you. And Lonnie showed the ankle bracelet. I was like, now, see, Lonnie, I don't know if that was a smart move or a dumb move, because I could totally see Whitney trying to cut it or something and throw it to, like, you know, give everybody a different sense of direction. So I was worried about that. But then you throw in a twist. Dave, I give you props for this. We've always been questioning the consequences of Marlena as the devil while still giving advice to people. Because he was giving advice to a lot of people, including Ben, hence why Ben and Sierra had that baby. She was giving advice here and there. So the fact that this nurse, when Marlena was like, wait a minute, Whitney was one of my patients because she was dealing with something too. I'm like, this just got interesting. Because you mean to tell me the devil made her do, like, I still want to know some things. But what I can say is this story took a whole different turn, left turn, and I wasn't expecting some of it. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying that you have a lot of people who are questioning. Like, I like the fact that John had a dream about this. Because even he said, well, how do we know he's really dead? About time, John. Because nobody's dead in Salem except for Lexi. Damn. But other than that, this storyline, again, a lot of people are now supporting players occurring, but this is a Abe and Paulina storyline. So kudos to James, to Jackie, to Sal, to Lamone, to everybody. Kim Coles, again, you better get that guest performer because that competition just got real tight because she's proven she can do this. And I'm very proud of her.
Tutti Frutti, oh Rudy, absolutely. And you know, I am glad. Let me rephrase that. It was worth the wait after James had his year. You know, I looked at what they decided to continue to give him, and said to myself, you know, did anybody pay attention what happened a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, last year? So, you know, now that they are giving that center stage to this veteran, to this powerhouse who has been the supporting actor beyond supporting actors on this show for going on, 30 years now, right?
Mm-hmm. Longer than that.
Just about.
Longer than that.
You know, he's an Emmy winner. He is stock of the genre, and I'm gonna be the one to say it. It's finally happening that we're getting a real African American storyline taking center stage, not part of a broader storyline, not fallout from a storyline, or not filler material in between two other storylines. We're getting center stage. Kudos.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the good thing about that is it brought, like, let me just say this. I up until last year, I had never really heard nor acknowledged Juneteenth. So that the fact that they worked a Juneteenth celebration into the storyline with Theo doing the speech for his father instead That, in my opinion, was fantastic because it brought Juneteenth, even though it's been in the news in the real world and, it's been politicized and everything. When it comes to a lot of people who don't pay attention to the news because of how wonky it is, when you see it being incorporated in a positive light into your entertainment, it does show a lot of it brings it out and exposes it to a lot more people in a positive way. And for me, I thought that was fantastic because like I said, I had never heard of it. It was never something that we grew up learning about. So the fact that it's not only an African-American centralized story, but incorporating all these history lessons, for lack of a better term, for other people, I loved it. And I still love this storyline. I am enthralled with it, and it's got me on the edge of my proverbial seat.
Well, and let me just say this, because this is one of the things that I feel as though, all right, I'm gonna do this. I know a lot of people have said some stuff on social media saying, why are they the only show to do Juneteenth? And I'm going to explain this the best way that I can, okay? This is the foot pattern of Erna Phillips, because she was at Days, but mostly Agnes Nixon. This is Ryan, at the time Jamie, because Jamie's no longer there, but he still has his writing over there. Agnes made it a point to educate those who don't know about the culture and about the holiday. Case in point, take a look at One Life to Live with Nora, okay? Yep. I'm going to say it like that. Antoine's and stuff. To me, I feel as though you're right. Not a lot of people understand what Juneteenth is and, like, the deep meaning of this holiday. And I appreciate that of soap because, again, some people learn from soaps versus social media. So I always give Days and any soap that does that a round of applause. What I also now I had kind of a negative because my whole thing was, and I said this in real time, I said, why did I just realize that Abe and Paulina got married the day that Lexi died? I said, y'all shady. I was like, I literally did that. I was like, what's today? And I was like, Juneteenth. I said, oh, y'all shady. I said, Lexi died on this day. Again, the soap fan, again, you have to remember your day as a soap fan. So I was like, I was expecting, y'all, don't be mad at me, okay? I really was expecting on Body and Soul, Renee Jones as a character. I swear I was. Oh. I swear. I was looking for it. I was like, Henry Marshall got an ex-wife. A dead ex-wife. Oh, my God, it's Renee Jones, everybody. Like, I really did think that. I really, Days, you be playing with my emotions too much.
And they gave J.K. Sandra Clarkington.
Yeah. That was our T2 character.
Yep.
Mary. They just put the sun on there. They felt they was slick. Because I was wondering, I said, are they going to make Procter & Gamble mad and give J.K. her own Another World name?
Oh, Lily Mason?
I was like, yeah, but I was like, they can't do that because that for sure would have been a lawsuit. But again, but that's the thing, is that we have followed, because they could also gave her a character from The Women of Brewster Place. This tells you we watch too much TV. But again,
Or Sister.
Or sister, yeah. They could have, but that's, see, again, I look at that, the Body and Soul, as kind of the love letter to the fans who really have followed James Reynolds from Days to Generations to allegedly, because Soap Opera Digest said Young and the Restless. He was not on Young and the Restless Soap Opera Digest, but he's been at Days for over 40 years. He's been in this game for almost close to 50. The fact that Jack K, we all know Jack K from 227, right? Right. The fact that we know, again, Mary Beth, for some people, look, her leaving Days and going to GH that was a big shock right there. But again, that was the ultimate. That was the ultimate love letter, and the fact that they kind of made fun of certain fans about soaps who was upset that Days went over to streaming. I started crackling because I was like, but the same thing could be said for All My Children One Life to Live too when they went online too. But I was just like, okay, this. Again, you need that balance of the drama. Because, again, like I said, once we realized how crazy this woman was, it stopped being cute. Mm-hmm. But then with Body and Soul, it's like, okay, she's feeding off of that, And we've heard stories in the news how TV shows and movies and stuff can influence somebody's decisions to, harm somebody or something.
Well, let's take a moment
to
mark the passing of Andrea Evans. God rest Tina Lord and all of the wonderful characters that she played. Yes. But she left her iconic role because her friend had been murdered by their stalker, and she was experiencing a highly dangerous stalker. So we do know that sometimes this stuff bleeds into reality. And we've even had callers on this show in the past who may not have understood exactly where the line of reality ends and the beginning of entertainment begins. Mm-hmm. I've been at Super Soap events and other events where some fans will, call out, scream at. I have seen drinks thrown at actresses who may have stolen somebody else's man.
Oh no, I've heard. Look, I'm going to say, I'm going to say this because in the next 2 weeks there's 3 major events happening. This week is the General Hospital fan event, their 60th. Yep. Next week, the following week is the Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful. Let me just say this right now. Me personally, Candace, hi, how you doing? I think I'm going to speak for everybody here at Take Two Radio and outside of Twitter. We better not hear that y'all made an actress cry because you guys cannot separate reality and what's on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say, and I better not hear anybody following an actor into the bathroom to get their autographs.
Oh, boy.
Yes. Yeah.
And that has happened before, okay? That's actually has happened. So, to me,
All right, I'm looking at the time, folks. Before we move along to General Hospital, let's give a kind of crash course to our guest, Vinny, because we're about to celebrate the legacy that is Mr. John Aniston, a.k.a.
Birthday.
And if you don't know, he is the father of Jennifer Aniston in real life. That's that's reality on the soap. He has been gone for a while, and we are going to be living these moments. Candace?
Okay, so first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Dave because I like what you guys are now doing with the new PR because I don't need to know everything 6 months in advance. I like to find out a week beforehand. So we found out, obviously, Stephen Nichols did kind of leak out. If you follow him, he did kind of say that around next month they was going to start the tribute to, Victor Kiriakis. We're going to find out what happens. So last week it was announced that John Paul Lavassier is coming back as Philip Kiriakis. Look, you're going to have his son. And I'm going to keep my mouth shut about something else because I heard something. But we got Louis Sorrell coming back, but it's one of those. It's going to get deep next month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because and I think was it today or yesterday is John Aniston's birthday, and last week was his anniversary of date. To not say that you cannot. When you watch the show, there is a presence. That's missing. The one-liners are missing. Because every time I'm looking at the show, I'm just hearing his one-liners. Like he had the best one-liners.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. And I'm going to say it. I said this in real time. When we found out that John Aniston had passed, about a month later, I said, after you guys, I don't want to say get over it, but when, you have to kind of get back to the norm a little bit, if you already know what you're going to do, you better start calling. You better start calling some people who are able to come back. So, like a Patsy Peeves, or, I'm going to say this. I do think Peter Ruffin will be coming back, later this year maybe, like a Victoria Conifat, like, certain people to just kind of come by, Again, I'm anticipating this, but I'm also getting a little bit emotional because this is going to be the final goodbye. This is going to be the final goodbye to somebody who was iconic. I mean, point blank, period. And that's all I can say about it. But I am looking forward to seeing what they do with this.
Yeah, I have never been exposed to the Victor Kiriakis character nor John Aniston, other than maybe one scene that I saw, like, I want to say maybe around Christmas time, or maybe in early February, I should say. But outside of that, I haven't seen any of his work, so it's going to be nice for me to see, just because obviously I know he was beloved on the soap, and in the acting, in the entertainment world, but I do want to see some of those memorable moments and some of the people that he rubbed up with, who he was able to give the rub to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is.
All right. Let's take the shuttle to Port Charles.
Wait, real quick, because I got to do this. I have to do this because it actually ties into Port Charles. So did we all hear the casting announcement? Did we hear the casting news?
No.
About Dave? Okay.
I don't know.
So real quick, we found out that Harris is going to go to the mental wards.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That casting news, yes.
Yeah. This is what some of us have been waiting for, been asking. We've been begging to show Jesus if it would possibly happen. Tamara Braun is coming back as Ava on Days of Our Lives. I'm going to tell you this right now. I love Steve Burton, and I love Tamara Braun. This is no shade to Laura Wright. I don't, but the most chem that Jason and Carly kind of had outside Sarah Jo Brown, because Sarah Joy Brown, girl, I love you. But Tamara and Steve had this thing. I am so looking forward to this. Please, Ron, please. I just need a scene. That's all I ask for. I just need a scene. I need to check something. I need validation. I just need a scene.
Aren't they supposedly going to be at the same place?
Yes, Candace, I'm going to tell you exactly what we need. We need her to pop up in a day room with a box in her hand, and because she got the touchy-feelies for him, and when he opens up the box, it is a black leather motorcycle jacket. That's what we need.
I would die even if they say something about, if they make, because some soaps will do this, especially if it's two characters that was on another show. They will make honorable mentions of their previous characters. So I'm wondering if, oh my God, I know what it is. I know it's going to be. They're going to say something about Jake.
Yes.
Oh
yes. Because if it's yes, her husband. Oh my God, yes. Yes.
Sorry, Vinny. I swear this is not normal, but I'm just like anticipating because. Because here's the thing. Okay, Dave, real quick, and I'm going to go to Jay. Here's the thing, Dave. Y'all really have to do something quick with Steve Burton. It's good that here's the thing. The shock was he came over to Beyond Salem too. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then you had him come over to the mothership. But we still have to figure him out, and you need to flush him out a little bit more. Because
he's like a sore thumb. It's like a square peg in a round hole.
It's sort of like, okay, you got him there just for the, hey, we got Steve Burton on our soap, ha, 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 ha. But you need to do something because Bo and Hope is not on the show. Megan's not on the show anymore. So you need to really find his footing in Salem, unless you're going to bring on Charlotte Ross.
Yep.
And now with that, let's go to General Hospital. I'm sorry, I'm up. I'm up.
Okay. Can we all throw the party that I know we all want to throw? She went home finally.
Yes. Thank God.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why this still surprises me after all of I won't say how many years in total, but I'll just say since I was 3 years old. I cannot believe that it still surprises me that a show can be so good and so bad at the same time.
At the same time.
At the same time, yep.
At the same time, I'm in love with portions of General Hospital, and there are some portions that I am so damn tired of. I have wanted, I have tried to, I have found places where I could love, and it has all been ripped away from me. I'm starting with Portia. With Portia, I have tried to love this character. I truly have. They have turned her in. Okay, they must have decided they took enough backlash about what they've done with Becky, a.k.a., you know who I'm talking about, Nurse
yes,
Elizabeth.
I know
Head nurse now, Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
They must have decided they have taken enough backlash over Elizabeth and Nina, and now they have transferred all of that over to, oh, Lord have mercy. If one of the beams in the hospital fell on her during one of her rants, I do not think I would even shed a single tear.
Oh, my God, Anthony.
No,
I'm
done. Even then, I'm done with the character. I can't.
I think Portia is really rubbing a lot of people the wrong way at this point. Like, there was a definite shift in her character, almost like we knew that she was lying about Trina's paternity up until the wedding. We knew that lie was going to come out. But it seems like after the wedding, she's kind of taking the what's the word I'm thinking of? But taking that
think about it logically. It's not even after the wedding. It's been since they got out of the basement. And she knew, Jordan knew her secret, whether or not Jordan was going to remember. I don't know how long you've been watching, Benny, but David and Candace have been along the ride for almost as long as I have.
I've been watching for over a decade.
Remember when Portia... Oh, okay. Then you remember when she first came on the canvas. This Portia resembles nothing of the woman that came up into Carly's house and stood head-to-head with Carly over her daughter, Trina.
Right.
It's not the same woman.
No.
Now,
not at all. But
I do want this storyline to play out in certain ways that I'm going to leave in my head and hope that we're going to be talking about it in 2 weeks in a certain way. Because I was given a spoiler that I think is going to rock everything. And if it's true, the way that it was laid out to me, everything is about to turn on its head. And if that's true, I am so along for the ride. But I'm not going to spill any confidences, but I will tell you all about it in 2 weeks because we'll be in the middle of it at that point. All right, real quick. I was so looking forward to meeting Irene. And then I said to myself, you done wasted, I don't know, count up the minutes. What was it, 13 minutes? You done wasted 13 minutes of my life for what? What?
Seriously, I like that part of Curtis's character right there.
I like that part of him. But those scenes could, oh my God, what they could have done with those scenes. I was just like, really? Really?
Yeah, it was really anticlimactic when Curtis, when we finally got to meet Curtis's mother. And, it's almost like, okay, we knew the reason for it. He's going to be given the option of whether he wants to die or live. But it's you would almost think like he would ask more questions, so that we, the viewer, could get more backstory.
Yeah, or have her whisper something to him right before he wakes up that causes him to ask some questions. No, unfortunately, we're going to find stuff out through, drum roll, please, Portia.
Yeah.
And I hope this paralysis is not as long as Willow's cancer.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Yes. All right. I'm going to ask my friend Candace, because I know she's got an opinion. A triangle between Alexis, Gregory, and Tracy. Come on, girl.
Okay, so Anthony, I don't know if you heard that I took a almost 3-week hiatus from General Hospital. Yes, I did. For my sanity, yes, I did.
Yes.
And the other day, I was home and I binged almost 3 weeks worth of General Hospital in one sitting.
I can't believe you actually did that. I don't know if I could do that.
Oh no! Trust me, I'm surprised that I didn't make it to 3 weeks. So here's the thing. General Hospital, we've had our moments on this show where I've almost turned in my divorce papers, but we always gave it another try, didn't we? We always somehow went to our marriage counselor, and we worked it out. Y'all need to stop forcing this, because y'all clearly don't know what to do with Gregory. Let's call it out for what it is. Let's call it out for what it is. The Gregory and Alexis thing, it's not gelling, it's not working. Do I appreciate Gregory and Tracy? Yes and no, because I feel as though it could have been organic instead of me feeling it's like, okay, y'all realize that Gregory and Alexis wasn't working out, so you're going to have Gregory over there with Tracy, who's going to find out that he's sick. All right, I've seen this before. And whatnot. And it's a shame because Gregory Harris, he could have been Jeff Weber. Let it go, Candace.
Yep.
Let it
could
go.
have been anybody.
Let it go, Candace. Let it go, Candace. No, he couldn't have been anybody. He could have been Jeff Weber. But I'm going to let it go because my therapist told me to let it go. It's kind of a shame because I know I'm supposed to feel something. I'm supposed to feel something. I don't care. I just call me. Again, you have Nancy Lee Grahn, Emmy Award winner. You have Gregory, Trapper John, Falcon Crest, Harrison. You have the iconic Emmy Award winner who co-wrote some of Loving Murders, who was my Carrie on Dying Light, Jane Elliott on this.
Mm-hmm.
And they can sell it. But I'm sadly not going to buy it. And that's my issue. I can't, it's a story.
Yeah, you know what? I can basically say ditto. All right, let's move along to the Davis girls. Okay, I'm going to take the lead on this one first and say I am loving Christina. I am loving Kate as Christina. I'm loving the embodiment. She obviously went back and studied Lexi, and she decided, okay, how do I adult the behaviors that Lexi brought to the character? I'm loving Christina. The revolving door of Molly has turned that character into something I don't recognize again as well. I think that the storyline is interesting, except for Molly. That's the part that sucks. Excuse my language.
Because it's a revolving door, and it's hard to get involved.
Apparently this is the last one. This is a permanent recast.
Yeah, this was the permanent one. This is the one that they had, because the other one, was just there temporary, because that's when the accident, the first one, happened. And then this one is the permanent one. And, go ahead, Anthony, because then after that, if I may, I definitely, I've been itching all night to talk about this. So go ahead, Anthony.
Okay. So in this, I got to go to the oldest Davis sister. That's what happened. Did they give you a lobotomy off screen? I'm glad that in the end, and it wasn't a very long run in the first place, I'm glad that in the end Sam and Carly came to, but no, honey. No, that was the time to let Sam's tongue fly. Then, not 3 days later, she is up there with Molly, and I'm like, who is this Samantha? I don't know this chick either. Is Dante slipping you something? What is going on?
I know. Once upon a time, Sam used to let loose on Carly. I don't know what happened to those times.
She slapped her.
Yeah, a couple of times.
Yeah. I have that video.
Missed that one.
So, I'm at the point where, the storyline could be really good, except where they brought us to so far, it's almost like, ew, just go away. And then there's the breakout. I'm loving TJ in all this. I'm loving TJ in all of this. All right, now I know Candace is itching, so go ahead, honey.
Okay. Samantha, what have they done to you is my question too. Because let me tell y'all something. I was right there with all of y'all who said the same thing. Drew is sacrificing his daughter for Carly. And I said, so nobody's going to call this out. I said, nobody. When Sam said to Drew, you're her father, this is nonsense. I was like, I've been looking for you, Sam. Where you been at, girl? Where you been at?
Yep.
Where's my
I thought it was going to be on.
But then it was like, well, I understand, Carly. I'm like, you know what it is? Sam has split personality disorder, y'all. That's what it is. Because Ratchet Sam was who we saw when she gave Drew that lashing. And this was Samantha, the fair maiden that Spinelli talks about, who was calm and cool and together and everything else like that. I don't know her. I don't like her. I need her to go. This whole TJ, Christina, Molly surrogacy storyline. Okay, let me break this down. We all saw this 3 months prior to Lexi leaving. Because out of nowhere, and I get it, because I heard everybody say, well, she must have been thinking about a baby, but I would have loved to seen it on screen before I saw this. Because here's the problem with General Hospital.
Exactly.
This is one of the 10 reasons why I can't get behind the storyline. I have not seen Molly and TJ, no pun intended, forever and a day. Okay? You literally have thrown, like you sprinkle TJ on a Tuesday, Thursday, and maybe a Friday. A Molly a Monday and every other Thursday. I couldn't get behind this. General Hospital, you do not know what to do with Christina. Just call it out for what it is, because for her to be Sonny and Alexa's daughter, she should have more screen time and more presence than just what it is. Her wanting to be a surrogate, I'm just like, okay, I need some more explanation on that. Now, here's the thing.
Wait, I'm going to disagree with you there, Candace. That part of it, I think they're writing perfectly. It is in her nature to jump on a snap idea, and suddenly this is the thing that's going to bring her back to.
But Anthony, you still kind of. But when you want to see, like, okay, a build up to it instead of just okay, I just jump in. Like, again,
I wanted to see a build up with Molly and TJ, maybe with a little bit of Alexis and Sam, but Christina making the snap decision, that is very much in character. That doesn't surprise me at all.
But I think, but it goes against something else that I'm going to say. Kate Mansing, you're doing an okay job, and I'm saying okay because I feel as though this is Kate. This is Kate being Kate, but trying to be Christina. Okay. Here's where the problem is. GH, we would have felt more emotions and stuff if it was with Lexi and Haley, because we actually have seen these women grow up on screen. And so we've seen these little girls grow up into teenagers to grow up into doing this storyline. We would have actually felt more of a connection, but because of outside situations, we have now we're on, we've been through a recast of Christina that we're still getting to know. We need to know her energy. They played it off, of course, they had her with the date with Kelly Monaco and Nancy Lee Grahn and with Maurice Bernard to see if where she has the chemistry, which person that she had the chemistry with. But what hurt it is, and look, side note, people, please understand that Haley needs to get some help. Mm-hmm. General Hospital is in the rearview mirror for her. She needs to worry about herself and get herself together before coming back to a show. And if General Hospital, if you're listening, you know what you have to do too, okay? So you have 2 recasts. And again, you have them into this storyline that is supposed to be a real, it's a touchy subject because this is what happens to a lot of women and to a lot of couples. But the thing is that, again, we have not connected to neither Molly because, well, we had Molly number 1, and now we have Molly number 2, who was 39 years old, right? But we have not connected. So I feel as though General Hospital, and side note, tomorrow starts, because today was the final episode of The Writers. Yeah. Tomorrow is the writer strike material. And we do not know now. Originally, they said it was going to be Matthew Sand, but it might be Gary Tomlin. If that happens, be on the lookout for that storyline. But again, we're not connected because it's
Molly, you in danger, girl. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. You might be like Tess, Beth, just West. But the thing is that it's so much. It's sad that it happened during this period of time for the storyline for all these changes.
It is.
But I will say that yes, the breakout has been TJ. We've actually seen TJ more as a doctor. But again, here's where the problem is: we have not seen TJ and the 3 Mollys as much as we should to really connect to the storyline, and that's the problem. So I feel as though this is where, I don't know, Gary or Matthew, I don't know, I'm just saying it, maybe y'all need to put a pause on the storyline and then maybe 6 months down the line revisit it, because at least we'll get more of a feel for Kate's version of Christina as well as Molly, played by, I can't think of the young lady's name, I'm so sorry. But
Brooke Ann Smith.
Okay, Brooke Ann Smith. Hey, girl. But we need to feel a connection to these 2 recasts before you give us this serious, heavy material,
Well,
you're absolutely right. Later.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this, too. You didn't learn your lesson with Willow's cancer, and the way you rolled it out to us, and you left out all the important moments and certain details, et cetera, et cetera. You haven't learned your lesson. The next time you want to take a storyline like this, you have got to give us the beats first. You have got to have us invested. Right now, we're not invested because, as Candace just said, we only saw Molly in the last year probably 6 times. We saw more of TJ and Willow, and if they had decided to, even though they weren't having the affair at the time, press them into an affair because of the surrounding circumstances, that would have been 100% more believable than where we is right now. And imagine had Willow actually, got pregnant, and Molly and TJ were trying to start their family, much more impactful.
Well,
absolutely.
Well, here's the thing. But even go back to when, Molly, quote-unquote, slept with Brando.
Yep.
We forget about that, right? I know. I try to forget about that. Like, you could have had an oopsie baby right there. Or because I feel as though, General Hospital, that's the problem. And in the last couple of episodes, I've had a real issue of how you've been dropping the ball left and right. And it's to the point where it's like, I feel, for me, the whole sum, and Vinny, I'm going to definitely get your take on this. I feel really disappointed as a fan of General Hospital who's been there for, am I going on 30-something years too? 30-something years. And for it to be your 60th anniversary, your 60th anniversary, and you presented me this, I feel, as a fan of the show, I feel like you literally, just like today, that nanny slapped the mess out of Ava. That's how I feel that you guys did me. I feel as though you slapped me in my face and says you can take your loyalty and go somewhere. And I don't want the show to be canceled. I don't want to, be a Debbie Downer. But General Hospital, this if you value any kind of sense, this is a story that does have great possibilities. This could be that story, like how Lucy was a surrogate to Dominique without, Molly dying. You could actually do that. And by the way, GH, I have a bone to pick with you.
Little Debbie's?
No, Maxie.
Thank you.
Was
I was
pregnant.
going there next. Thank you, girl.
She was a freaking surrogate to Lulu. Okay? So I don't know, Dan, Chris, I don't know if it was you that did it, but y'all need to do your research. But again, see, this is where somebody needs to talk, bring in Maxie, because I don't know what the heck y'all did to Maxie. I don't understand this. I don't get it. I need y'all to be better by that girl. But you see, if you want to have Christina jump into the fire, right, this is where she goes to, and see, this is what I'm going to say. Just shelve it for a minute, because I want to see a scene with Christina and Lucy and Christina and Maxie. Because Lucy does
Christina
know.
And Dante.
And, mostly I want the women. Because Lucy will tell Christina. And you know how Lucy would do it. She'd be like, well, she'll try to make it comical, but then because I don't think anybody's really asked Lucy since it happened, how did she feel about it? And hey, GH, this is a way to nod your hat to Serena Baldwin, because Lucy loved that girl.
Yep.
So, y'all need to just hold off on the story until you get us used to the recast, because that is a key factor in this storyline.
Well, there was a
let's
scene.
slide for a minute.
Well, let's see Vinny's take real quick.
Go ahead, Vinny.
Well,
Go ahead.
There was a scene, I think it was on Friday's episode, where Christina was talking. They were at Kelly's, and Maxie came in, and Christina did ask Maxie for some advice about being a surrogate.
And then they said, "Why are you asking her?" Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is not the time or the place to talk about it. So I mean, they kind of see it, but I think Maxie could also give they didn't follow through, and I think Maxie could give Christina that side of well, I was supposed to be a surrogate for Lulu and Dante, but I lost the baby and ended up getting pregnant by Spinelli. So I mean, she does, Christina does have to get the research and get the advice from other people, but I agree that her being impulsive is part of her character. And I think that Kate Manzi is playing it a lot more erratic than Lexi Ainsworth did, to the point where I even made a comment on Twitter last week or the week before, last week during one of the episodes, is that she's like a bull in a china shop. That's how it is. She just comes right in and just says her piece, and regardless of what anybody else feels, and then deals with the consequences later. I am enjoying the. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Vin.
We got a couple more beats at General Hospital, and I'm looking at the time, so let's just tackle Jackson Montgomery real quick. That was one of the parts that I thought, that's one of the spaces where I thought that they did quite well. Love the old-timey caper feel to it. Love the consequence structure to it. Hope that all of this press that has been given around it, and gives them the opportunity to invite him back. I definitely felt a little bit of chemistry there between Mr. Montgomery and Ms. Go. So I would not mind Jackson rolling back into town. Thank you so much for giving me the one thing that I asked you for, Frank, and the writing team. Thank you for working Anna in somehow, because if it all would have went down and there had been no interaction, I would have been very, very upset. Thought that was
and
adorable.
is the only character that's been on all three shows.
About
all three of ABC soaps. So, I mean, it's just natural that she should have been part of that storyline.
Candace?
Okay, so if Walt really hears this, first of all, Walt, I don't have a cold anymore. Thank you. You know I'm still heated about that. I'm joking, Walt. Anytime you want to come back on Take Two, you can. Okay, so I was really nervous about this. I'll be completely honest. I was nervous because General Hospital is already bloated enough with a lot of characters and open-end story arcs, and it's just like they do certain things to kind of distract you from this storyline and be like, hey, we're doing this. So let me just say this. Michael E. Knight has been on this show for going on 2 years, 3 years, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Other than making him Laura's half-brother, what have they done with this character, right? They paired him up with Lucy. Everybody loves Lucy. We all love Lucy. I love Lucy. You love Lucy. We all did. But just to me was like, okay, y'all should have did this a year ago and not now. I feel as though, again, to distract me from the other stuff that's not popping, not going well, you do this. And, yes, I love the fact that Jackson Montgomery, is representing Pine Valley. I like that. And it was nice that, they did say something about Anna, because I was like everybody else. I was like, now, if they don't acknowledge this, we got a problem. But then I thought that they were going to do, the tongue-in-cheek. They were going to have Jack, because at first I thought Jackson was coming to Port Charles, and I was like, watch he cross paths with Valentine, because, again, everybody who was on All My Children, like Maurice Bernard and, stuff like that. So the fact that, they went to Pine Valley, it was okay. Now, I kept thinking to myself, are we going to get an update about Life in Pine Valley 2023, right? So we know him and Erica still not together. It didn't break my heart, by the way. Sorry, I do like Jackson and Erica. Let me clarify this, but not every couple has to be together. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my heart, I'm like, hey, they should be together, but they're always going to be together regardless, right? So I like the nods of All My Children, but this is what I will say, because I was 50-50 on this. I know that ABC has been known to do this, where they have the crossovers and everything. That's what made ABC legends of the crossovers.
Yep.
But
Ray Cummings.
Hindsight, the problem that I had was, okay, GH, you do this, and you know that fans are going to want more. And, you can invite Walt Willie back, but I'd rather have All My Children back on my screen. I'd rather have and that's what, like, in all honesty, I was like, okay, you're investigating Martin and his ex-wife who has ties in Pine Valley. And I was like, okay, so who from Pine Valley are they going to bring up? Who's coming back to, come over, from All My Children to, General Hospital, right?
Right. And
so I acknowledge what they were doing. I give them credit for it. But again, you can't. It's a different feel for me right now, because I was like, okay, again, it was a cameo. I get that, but again, it left me missing All My Children. Again,
okay,
it's like,
let me jump in here right now, because if this was laying the groundwork, everybody keeps saying, oh, Katie McLean is going to show up on our screen. I love me some Katie. I do. But with the way they have built Martin's third ex-wife, it ain't Katie. Come on now, Frank. Put your detective skills to work and go find. No, it's not Erica either.
Nope.
Go find you some Marcy Walker and build a character that Marcy was born to play opposite Michael. As whatever southern accent he got going on now. You notice it's faded a lot. Y'all notice how
it has faded. Now, Anthony.
What about
Anthony?
Oh, go ahead.
Real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know I love some Marcy Walker, and she's doing the Lord's work. Amen. But you got to dig deep. Come on now. Come on, Vinny. All you guys that are listening, come on, let's dig deep. Let's really put our thinking caps. I'm going to be the teacher right now. Everybody put on your thinking caps, and let's travel to imagination land. Who do you think they're going to get to come on as Martin's third wife? Let's go. Come on, Anthony. Come on, Anthony. You can do it. I'll give you a gold sticker if you get it right. Come on, Anthony. Pull, baby. Pull. Pull from the history.
Oh, honey, please don't tell me you're in that Jill Lawson camp.
Nope. Come on.
How about Jamie Luner, who played Liza, the last Liza?
Come. Now, David. Now, do you need to go into the corner and have a thinking moment?
Jenny.
No. We already had Kim Delaney. We had Kim Delaney already on the show.
We had Kim Delaney already.
That's true.
Remember?
That's true. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Okay.
She was Yeah,
she was Jackie. She was Jackie.
Yeah.
I mean, Jackie Templeton. I don't know if you remember. Yeah.
Oh,
come on, Vinny. Vinny.
She was Demi
Vinny did watch. So Vinny did watch All My Children, right?
I only got into All My Children at the very end, so I really couldn't.
Very end.
So
once it is over.
Vinny can still participate because he watched it towards the end. Okay, come on, y'all.
Yeah.
Come on. Roll the dice.
Now, Brooke.
Shake it. No. Really? Y'all really disappointed me.
Liza, Brooke. I'm trying to think. Dixie.
Who, Candace?
Bobby Eakes.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God, yes.
Oh.
Macy. Ooh, Crystal.
Crystal.
And you could even name her Crystal, too.
Mm-hmm. If she is a wife in Pine Valley who's sending money from Pine Valley, we have not, keep in mind, Crystal does have some money. We have not do not know what's been going on with Crystal since Pine Valley ended. So to be really cute, GH, I bet, because look, if Susan Lucci comes on General Hospital, you better promote the heck out of it for a whole 2 weeks that she's coming on General Hospital for longer than 2 days. Because first of all, you can't do that to Susan Lucci. You can't just have it on for 1 day or 2 days.
No, you
need a month. You need a month, okay? Yeah, it would be cute if Katie McClain came on and then her and John Lindstrom crossed paths too. That would be so cute. Oh, the feels.
And her Remora too.
Oh yeah, but they're gonna play the Aswell Turn beat too. But anyway, but let's be honest. You're not going to get Lindsay Hartley because Lindsay was already a recast Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You're not going to get Jamie. I mean, if you get Jamie Lynn, I'd rather for her to be Scott Chandler. Thank you.
Me too. Go ahead, girl.
So Bobby Eakes is my pick for who they're going to bring on as Martin's third wife. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to be shocked. But if I'm right, I want Mark Tessner's job.
So my question to you three then is Martin's ex Tracy's partner?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they needed somebody in Port Charles to infiltrate deception to get those secrets out, which is why Tracy had Brooklyn doing it.
And see, I'm hoping for a bigger umbrella than this. I'm hoping that actually there's a player out there that we don't know about that is playing Tracy on one end, or playing with Tracy on one end, playing with Selena Wu on the other end, and has, that global kind of influence, a little bit in the WSB, a little bit on the, formerly DBX, et cetera, and can pull all of these jangling storylines that could be related at some point together and wrap them all up in a tidy bow. That's what I'm kind of hoping for, because looking at the canvas and where they're going with Selena, they have red herringed us, misled us. They like Candace was just saying, the whole thing with slipping Victor the Mickey. What point did that serve? You must have changed storyline direction at some point in all that. Otherwise, why bother wasting our time with that? They're constantly throwing out these loops. Mason, there are so many dangling storylines that could all be wrapped up with a powerhouse person behind the scenes that we don't know about yet. And God, awful, please don't make it Cyrus Renault. I do enjoy him. I do. I enjoy him as a baddie. I enjoy him as a reformed wannabe baddie, whatever he is now. But don't make him the criminal mastermind. If you're going to do it right. Bring somebody powerhouse in and shake everything up. Candace?
Well, they need to. Sorry, not to cut you off, Candace, but they need to bring somebody in as a powerhouse for this story because of how badly
and that's why
the
you can't be
storyline ended. That's you know, they need to make up for the fact that the Hook storyline ended very badly. It started out good. It started out with, you know, people dying, a great thing, and then it comes out as Heather Weber, and it was like a fart in church. It did not go over well. It just, you know, it's like, of all the people, they could have either introduced a new character or a twist, you know, and I actually have a thought on Curtis's shooting, who the shooter could be, which might be a really good possibility, but that's another storyline.
Now bring it up. Let's hear it.
Well, my thought process is we've seen that Taggart has been drinking, and I brought this up in the chat room of the 10th Floor podcast yesterday. But we've seen the scenes of Taggart starting drinking ever since it came out that Curtis is Trina's father. You know, he's got connections to the WSB. We know the gun was a WSB gun. What if it was Taggart that went off the deep end and actually was aiming for Curtis?
Oh, I like that twist.
I mean, it would give Ray Andrews something big to sink his teeth into, and we would see him more, hopefully. But I think that would give it a good twist, especially with him being asked to be the police commissioner.
Yep. See, my only problem with that is I feel as though with General Hospital, and let me just preface this, I don't know what Matthew or Gary would do with this, but I'm going to go by if Dan and Chris and them was doing it. They would ruin Taggart. And that's just my problem. There are certain characters on this show they have ruined for me to the point where I'm like, I need a serial killer ASAP, a real one, to get rid of some of these characters because I feel as though you really ruined it. Now, flip side, do I think whoever shot Curtis is working for Mrs. Wu or somebody, or who the connector is? Heck to the yeah. And this is where General Hospital, I want to be the head writer of the show because I gave this a lot of thought. Okay? Now, like I said, Bobby Eakes is Martin's ex-wife, Tiffany. I don't know. Crystal Tiffany. I don't know. Maybe give her, you know what, Crystal Alexis Carrington. There you go, folks. Okay. I know y'all can't use that name, but if y'all could, kind of like real be kind of cute. Here's the thing. I do hope that whoever it is somebody separate. The person that I want, General Hospital, you realize you are celebrating 60 years, right? This is where I need you to really look. Dan and Chris, go on YouTube. Ask Frank to go on Wikipedia. Ask Nathan Varney to also go on Wikipedia, YouTube, or ask some of us. Somebody who is big and bad. And keep in mind, Tracy is a mob boss herself. Corner, New York, just saying.
Yep.
The person that I want to be the connector to all of this is two people. One, the gorgeous blonde bombshell herself, Faith Roscoe.
Cynthia Preston, hell yes.
She dead, y'all. She alive, okay? My second person, I've made a mention of this character earlier tonight. I understand the actress has been living it up, the farm life like Green Acres. But I need to see my guy, Shayla Alcazar, back on my screen.
Yeah.
Because I can see, I've already had this is where Candace's mind sometimes go. I can see Tracy getting a phone call. Meet me on the docks, it says. She goes to the docks, and in Tracy format, she says, well, it took you long enough. I don't want to be out here. All of a sudden, you see a pair of black pumps or something like that, or red, walk up, and then we see, well, it took you long enough to get here. All of a sudden, you see the famous red hair, and it pans, and we see Robin Christopher back on General Hospital, ABC weekdays, Hulu on the weekdays. Like, to me, you need somebody who has connected, because here's the thing. Once she got with Alcazar, she became Lady Boss. To me, Sky would have that connector, like she would be connected. And you know, Tracy and her, even though they didn't see eye to eye, they did respect each other on some. They never liked, but they did have some kind of respect towards each other. And you would think, because Tracy is kind of, you know, in a position.
And Sky was one of Luke's favorites. Don't forget.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so Tracy would have softened.
You know, and keep in mind, like Sky and Tracy were similar in certain areas. So I think it would be interesting. See, this is where General Hospital, this is where the creative juices are flowing, is that you keep those two storylines separate. Who shot Curtis? Me personally, I don't want to be Taggart, but I want it to be somebody. You know who I think it was? Probably Zeke.
Zeke was there.
Or Dr. Montague. Or Dr. Montague, and they're going to have some wild reason why he was shooting in the first. Yeah, no.
Uh-huh.
All right. For sake of time,
we got to go on to the other
we got much more with General Hospital in 2 weeks. Let's go on over to the Bold and the Beautiful, and I'm just going to do it. I told you so. I told you so.
You in for the rest of the ride, Danny?
I mean, I'll listen in. I mean, I don't know anything about Bold and Beautiful or Young and the Restless, so I mean, I'll listen in, but I would probably tap out because I don't have anything to add to it. So I'll definitely listen.
Well, then, let me just say thank you. You are welcome on T2 Radio Soaps whenever you'd like to join us. You were definitely a great addition tonight.
Well, thank you. Right. I appreciate that.
I told you so. David, you have not spoken much, and I know how much you love Bold, so why don't you fill the folks in who might not have watched where we happen to be right now? And I just have to say this. I'm going to say it. I have seen the rumors. I have paid attention to what y'all are all saying. If they do decide to put Liam in a coma or kill him off so that the 60th anniversary of General Hospital can have a reunition of of the brothers and Tracy's son that nobody ever mentions, I won't be mad at you. I'd rather you put him in a coma and not kill him, but that's just me. David, catch the folks up. Where we at?
We are at the point where Hope decided to sleep with Thomas and put the blame on Liam. I was at Soap Party last night, Candace, and I was listening to most of it, and Carrie was singing my tune, so I'm sort of in full agreement with her. I am on Liam's side for this because I don't think she had a right to put that judgment on him after that fact. I mean, if she hadn't, I mean, he has been good to her through this. He didn't cheat on her. And I'm not liking this part. I am very sensitive. I'm very sensitive about it because I still see it as her being acceptive to her abuser. That's how I see it.
Candace?
I agree with you. And see, this is where let me just say this. Vogue has been that soap where if you're in one lane, you can also switch lanes. It's fine. For the majority of us, it is uncomfortable, the fact that Hope is with Thomas, considering all the stuff that Thomas has put her through. And yes, Hope put Thomas through. But I understand
I'm sorry,
both.
though, you also have to layer in all that he put his own son through under
right,
her
that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying as far as, I'm not putting, like, when I say, like, Hope and Thomas, because here's the thing. Thomas kept that secret about the baby. And I'm going to do this because I saw a lot of people saying, well, you know, you can't base it off of Matthew's version of Thomas. You're right, I can't. So I'm going to go through the whole history of Thomas. Thomas has set a house on fire. Thomas has pushed people. Thomas has done A, B, C, D, F, G. Shall I continue? Okay, so we're going to do that. Let's do the whole history.
He slept with her mama. He slept with her mama.
I mean, yeah, but here's the thing, too. With Hope, and let me just say this, Anika Noel, you better put your name in for the Emmys next year, too, because I've definitely seen a growth in you as well. Yeah. Hope has always been cuddled. Let me explain this. I always said that Brooke, Bridge, and Taylor, y'all all had kids who grew up and was a part of y'all dramas. How y'all lives was going to affect these young adults was going to be something else. You take out Rick and Bridget because they're not there. But we already know the damage that you guys have done to Rick and Bridget. But when you look at Steffi and you look at Thomas and you look at Hope, they've all been exploited to this. They've been exposed to the toxic. Hope, however, is like Taylor. I've always said this comparison. Brooke is Steffi. Steffi is Brooke. Brooke is Ridge. Taylor is Hope, and Hope is Taylor. Because they are similar. Yes, Taylor does take some ownership. But with Hope, my whole thing was this, is that I needed the writers at the time, because they're already on their, writer strike material since July 7th. I needed to get an explanation of why Hope is acting this way. And I get it. The temptation is real. But at the same time, this is dead wrong. And I love the fact that she did play the conflict, like, okay, I know I shouldn't be doing this. Why am I doing this? I don't get why I'm doing this. You have Thomas, who, guess what, y'all? He is not getting his hands dirty because he is kind of concerned about this. Even though this is what he's wanted, trust and believe. But at the same time, he doesn't know how to react to this. He's just in it for the ride. He's like, I finally got it. I finally got some hope. Hope took control of the situation. And that's probably what it is that Hope never felt in control of her life. She's kind of also said it. But what I did not like is, Hope, you're still not taking accountability for it. This would trip me out. Let me just do it. This would trip me out. Okay, you got Liam, right? He's already kissed Steffi 2 times because he's hurt. But again, karma. Karma is a curse and a blessing, Liam. This is your karma. But at the same time, I was with you when you kept saying to Hope, what does Thomas have to do to you to get you to see what we're seeing? Thomas is very unstable. You don't know when he's going to turn. Okay. With Thomas right now, he hasn't done anything. So I can't say that, right? Okay. But then, Hope, you said something that when I heard this, I was like, yo, this is getting serious. You're saying the reason that you hopped on Thomas's magic stick, we're a family show, so I said magic stick, is because of Steffi being always involved in you and Liam's life. Girl, I said this last night. I went on a rant. Girl, Steffi has been a part of your life now for over almost 30 years now. Whether it's been your stepsister, your cousin, your friend, your boss, whatnot, she's been in your orbit since y'all was little kids, okay? She dated your brother, and everything else like that. She has been a constant in your life. And yes, Hope, you and Steffi have something in common. You both are the mothers of Liam's baby. So, yeah, Steffi's always going to be in your orbit, just like Steffi has an issue with you being in her orbit, too. There's nothing you can do about it. But for you to go ahead and say the reason that you hopped on Thomas's joystick, we're a family show again, I tell you, is because of Liam and Steffi. Sit somewhere and take ownership. You weren't happy. You were not fulfilled. You feel as though you played the good girl so long that it was time for you to break out and be rambunctious, just jump into the fire. But you are still not taking accountability for what you did. You are the one that also went to and got the divorce papers before Liam did, which surprised Liam. But this is what you want, Hope. This is what you want. Now let me drag this other girl over here who's all smiling because Thomas and Hope was kissing and holding hands. Steffi, girl, I don't know what you're smiling about because I told you this once. I told you this twice. You should have told your husband that Liam kissed you. Yes, you told Liam you had some boundaries. But this was more for you to hear it out your mouth towards what you needed to say inside your head. Because I've been down this road before with you. You say this whole Shira, Beyonce speech, I am woman, I am a mother, I am a married woman. But the first time, you didn't push him. You didn't tell Finn. The second time, you kind of melted a little bit. You smiling on the side like Hope is, Hope busted up the marriage and everything. Again, Steffi, I know you feel as though this is your karma because you feel as though, like, Hope busted up you and Liam's marriage. And yes, folks, let me preface this. Hope and Liam was hunched over and everything while Liam and Steffi was married. So please don't say that Hope is always innocent because, no, she's not. The thing is that, Steffi, you're so focused on that, you need to talk to your husband who clearly has said, and I quote, if something like that was to happen to me, I would be upset too. I would be upset if my wife had kept a secret about having sex with somebody or kissing somebody. And you already know, Steffi, how Finn feels about you and Liam. So again, Steffi, why are you over there acting like nothing? Finally, I will say this. Scott Clifton, you're showing why you are the lead actor of that show because I'm buying that. Even though, like I said, I'm not agreeing with what you did or how it happened, but you're hurt. You're hurt, and now you understand. But I will say with this storyline, it's very interesting because, believe it or not, y'all, I like Hope. I like Liam. I like Steffi. But I can call out these characters for being trash. And that's all I got to say.
I'm just going to add one more piece to that puzzle. I like how you brought the whole destruction of their, childhood and how they had to live through it all. They were siblings, then they weren't siblings. They're always going to, the whole progression of it all. Here's the thing. We called this a month ago on this show, and that's the piece. If this, I'm along for the ride. I'm enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying that I don't like it. I'm enjoying that I'm uncomfortable. But you cannot, I'm going to repeat this. I said it a month ago, and I'm going to repeat it again. You cannot get her out of this as a damsel in distress. There has got to be some come to Jesus at this point.
Amen.
There has to be. All right. I think there's really not much else going on B&B. Anybody need to shout anything else out before we go?
Sheila.
Do you want
Sheila.
Do you want Finn to clean Liam's clock?
Yes.
No, I don't. I want them to have a confrontation, but I don't think they're both, honestly, really, they're both secondary. And I don't want anyone cleaning Thomas's clock either, quite honestly.
How can I say
I don't
that?
like the fact that Liam feels he has to step in now.
But you realize
I want
that's
to trust Finn at this point, even though we saw that point where he was hugging Sheila back. And that's...
But see, this is what's interesting. And then we can go to Young after this. Yeah. Right now with Finn, because I said, see, again, in my head, I said this to Steffi. You over there worried about Hope and Thomas and Liam. You need to start worrying about your marriage and your family.
Man.
Because the thing is that, again, Finn already has issues with you and Liam, which makes him very vulnerable. And who loves to be the one to play on that is Mama Dearest herself, Sheila. Now, yes, Lee should be there too, because Lee doesn't like Steffi and Liam either. But, you know, for the dramatic purpose, we got Sheila.
She'll be on. I think she's due on this week.
Yeah. But with Finn, going back to when Steffi told him that he could not have any kind of connections to Sheila. And see, Steffi, here's where you messed up at. Because of your lying, Finn is going to have some, like, again, it's human nature to have some kind of response.
She gave Sheila the ammunition, is basically what you mean.
Because the thing is that I've always said this about Finn. We don't know how much of Sheila's DNA really runs in his system. Yes, he was raised by Jackie and Lee. Yes, I get that. But deep down inside, we do not know the darkness. We've seen it. Let me preface that. We've seen a little bit of Finn's darkness when he beat up Vinny about the DNA test. So to me, don't think this is out of sight, out of mind, me talking. But we really don't know how far Finn can go. And the fact that if Sheila finds out any type of info or see any type of thing, so she's free now, this is going to be very interesting to see how Finn handles everything. And I don't think they're going to ruin him. I really don't. It's just they need to add some layers to Finn. And this is one of the big layers that they need to really fill in. Steffi, I try to tell you, girl, you need to listen to me, Steffi. I know what I'm talking about, but you don't want to listen. Whatever.
It's true.
So, okay.
All right, Candace, you might as well stay right on that soapbox because I know you got something to say about the Young and the Restless, honey.
Yes, it is.
Go ahead, Candace.
Yes. I would like to formally say Young and the Restless is by far the best soap right now. Yay!
Candace is happy.
Here's the thing.
I'm happy too. Yes.
This is, and especially the news that came out today. Hell yeah. Let me do this. Josh, don't disappoint me starting tomorrow. Here's what you did. Young Russell, this is what you did. You improved a lot in the last year. The last half of the year, you really improved. I was worried that the 50th, because, again, Josh, what you did today is doing their 50th. Woo, child, okay? But I remember you was also over there at One Life to Live for their 25th anniversary, and I really enjoyed that. So with this, what I like about the Young and the Restless right now is this is family. It's all family-oriented. We got the companies. We got takeovers. We got things happening that we didn't think we would see, okay? So let me just say this. Audra is my character of the year.
Oh, yeah.
I love her. When I say love her, I literally have a girl crush on her. I like the fact that this is a character who, sorry guys, is like a guy. She is being a guy in this because, again,
she's a player.
She's a smart business player who knows how to work her sexuality. Because, again, is she a gold digger? I can't say that.
Yep.
What I do know is she knows how to have a backup for a backup for a backup. Because, again, starting with Noah, Tucker was a backup to Noah, right? Okay. We got Tucker, and then we got her involving her. She got her eyes set on Nate and to Kyle. She got Nate. Her and Nate are working together. But she knows that this could probably fall through, so guess who she hooked up with? Kyle. But you notice she also got, her and Adam. Okay? I'm just saying. I like this dynamic of her being a vixen, but she's a smart vixen. And I like the fact that she's giving Summer a little bit of heat, which I've always wanted for Summer. I've always wanted Summer to have somebody like a rival, Yeah, it could have worked with Lola. It really could have. But they kind of ruined Lola by that purse situation. I like the fact that Audra has caused kind of she's like a little hurricane. Because she added some major drama to Kyle and Summer. Even though, Kyle, you ain't off the hook yet. I'm going to get to you in a minute. But also the fact that Victor Newman is phased on her. Like, Victor got her number.
Yep.
Her and Nate being these little sneakers and power players and stuff like that. And then you got her and Lily. I like this. It's just giving me
I like that a lot.
Right, a lot. Because here's the thing. I feel as though Summer Audra is what Sally should have been. But because, you go back to the drawing board, you start again. So I will say this. Audra reminds me a little bit of Sally, a little bit of Jill, a little bit of Justin in my life, a little bit of Tara for what she should have been, and a little bit of Mia. What's a little bit of Lola? Yeah.
A little bit of Mia.
Right, because to me, she doesn't seem like she backs down, because the best scene for me was like just her kind of rubbing it in a little bit to Summer, and not only that, but her and Lily. So you need that kind of fierce power on that show. Now, I did not expect to see this. I said this last night on Soul Party. It's like a deja vu. I had so many deja vus with Young and the Restless lately, but the fact that Sharon, Nick, and Adam are working together again, hell froze over. Hell froze over. Anthony Davis.
And I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued.
Right. Hell froze over. Because I was like, Restless Styles 2.0, let's go. Let's go. I'm curious. Because I said this too, because I said, oh, Young and Restless, y'all shady. You have Sharon with two guys who deeply care about her, and vice versa. And I said, Young and Restless, I see what y'all doing. You're going to have the Sharon and Adam fans and the Sharon and Nick fans questioning down the line because something happened. But at the same time, you got Chance and Sharon having sex in the coffee shop. I was like, you know what? Love is back in the afternoon. I was like, yo,
I don't know. I liked that. I mean, I appreciated that. It's about time she did something for herself. And she always for other people.
He did something for her.
Yep.
Okay, let's face facts. She had been lingering on the sidewalls of the canvas for quite some time. And they needed something to shake up the whole race situation, et cetera, et cetera. They needed something to give Sharon a reboot. And so they bring in Cameron. First and foremost, Lindsay, what's his name in real life?
Yeah, I know.
Lyndon Ashby.
Ashby, guest performer.
Okay. Definitely needs to put himself in the running.
Great. Going to be messed up.
Yeah.
I just have to say this, Go. I just have to say this. Sharon, girl, you rock that dress. Girl, you rock that dress. And that moment with the leg and her, oh, hello. But I like to see Sharon back I like to see Sharon in a I'm not, poor little blonde Sharon. I like to see that she is, taking for herself.
Charge.
Honestly, the thing with Chance, we know ain't gonna last. And it is going to be.
Sharon Well, chance. She took a chance with Chance.
She took a chance with Chance.
Absolutely, but you know they are going to play the beats of Sharon Adam and Sharon Nick. And you know what? Honestly, even though it's a reboot for the third time now, I'm on board.
I'm here.
I'm on board because this is a different Sharon than 10 years ago or 12 years ago, whatever it was. This is a different Sharon. The only one in this game who's still the same is Nick, basically. And Nick don't ever change. Love you, man. Okay, maybe get a little bit more fierce, but, you know, don't follow in the footsteps of your sister. Oh, that's a whole nother conversation. Oi. Yeah.
Telling this don't show.
Okay.
And then
Candace Phyllis. Oh, go ahead.
Look, I was about to say about Phyllis real quick. Look, okay, first and foremost, hey, Young and Restless, thank you. Thank you for giving me Cricket versus Phyllis. Let's go, America. Let's go. I love it. I'm sorry, I want to get emotional. The fact that Phyllis had that smirk on her face, and here's the thing, I know people want her to have consequence. I know that. But she is having a consequence because I think she found out either today or this week about what went down between Summer and Kyle because of her, right? But at the same time, you got Cricket who was feeling sorry for you, Phyllis, because you died. She felt bad about that, about how your children's going to respond, and you do this. Oh, Cricket is on a war path. And the fact that, Michael had to go and save Glory over in Shanghai or Singapore, I'm like, that Glory. But the fact that Heather is over there, I'm like, and Heather and Cricket had it out about Paul. Okay, no, I'm going to be nice. But the thing is, I'm loving this. I love the fact that Cricket is like, I want to find Carson. Nobody can find Carson now. Phyllis is like this. I'm not going to jail. I love this energy. See, this is Young and Russell's 50th season has been giving me William J. Bell vibes, and I appreciate that because that's how you do an anniversary show. You hear that, GH? I love the fact that also you got Billy just being right there. He's not doing anything, but he's kind of looking like he's looking inside from the outside because the whole Abbott family is crazy.
Right. They're strung up.
They're strung up. Thanks, Diana Tucker. By the way, I still say Diana has a plan. Anyway, but then you got Kyle. Yo, let me tell you this. God, Allison, who plays Summer, girl, get your Emmy nod too. Because when Summer put two and two together, when she smelled that perfume, and she looked at Kyle and said, are you having an affair on me? Are you sleeping with Audra? And Kyle at first was going to deny it, just like every other Abbott guy in town. And when he said, when she slapped him, I was like, you're your mother's child. I said, you're your mother's child, and I'm so proud of you. Because Kyle, here's the thing. Summer was defending her mother just like you were. You guys are you both are victims of the Phyllis and Diane situation. But Kyle, you took it a step further by sleeping with somebody. Summer lied. Y'all could talk it out. But you went ahead and you slept with somebody more than 1 minute. But it's like, it's seriously like, oh my God, but this was much needed angst. And the fact that you're not working at Marchetti, ha. Young and the Restless by far.
On that note, folks, the Young and the Restless has definitely earned the Comeback Award of the decade.
And Leanne Love is coming back. So,
I did, girl. I'm waiting with anxious bated breath. We will be back in 2 weeks with more of this fabulous commentary. Take Two Radio Soaps, folks.
See ya. August 14th,
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Get connected with Take Two Radio on Facebook or Twitter at Take Two Radio. For email updates on future shows, follow at Blog Talk Radio. For previous episodes, upcoming guests, and more, visit Take2Radio.com.